Emily Lewis was the brightest student in the town of Windridge. She was a 23-year-old young woman who lived her life normally, was cheerful, and had a bright future. The town looked peaceful and quiet from the outside. Its atmosphere offered a peaceful atmosphere that permeated every corner of the town. The townspeople knew each other. Everyone knew each other's houses. Everyone's lives, from their families to their childhood memories, were interconnected like a small wheel. Emily was studying in the writing department at Windridge University, and her student life was quite organized. However, one day, something happened that would change her life. When she returned home from school, a strange message in her email inbox deeply disturbed her. The sender's name was Smile Dog. There was nothing else. At first, she thought it was just a regular spam message, but then curiosity got the better of her, and she decided to open the message. Suddenly, a photo appeared on the screen. A small dog was smiling, but this smile was far from natural. Its eyes, almost empty behind glasses, seemed hollow. The grin was so wide, it looked almost like a mask. Emily's heart began to race. The photo was so clear that the dog seemed to be standing just a step away. In the corner of the screen, there was only one sentence: "Look into my eyes." Feeling brave enough to conquer her fear, Emily couldn't take her eyes off the photo. Something stirred inside her, but she quickly stood up, closed her computer, and went to bed. Before falling asleep, she thought of the photo once more. In her dream, the dog's eyes were always watching her. The next morning, the town felt strangely off in a way Emily hadn't expected. Everyone was giving each other cold, distant looks. Even her neighbors were avoiding eye contact with her. The unease within Emily grew stronger. The entire town was wrapped in an eerie atmosphere, but no one could explain why. She didn't speak to anyone outside, and the whole place felt like a ghost town. Nobody could go on with their lives in the usual way. That morning, Emily messaged her old friend Rachel, who lived in the town. She hadn't seen Rachel in a few weeks, and curious, asked, "How are you?" The reply came quickly, but as Emily read the message, her eyes widened in fear. Rachel had only written one word: "Don't look into my eyes." Emily's heart began to beat tensely. She immediately tried to call Rachel, but the phone didn't connect. Filled with anxiety, she decided to go to Rachel's house. Rachel's house was on the outskirts of town, abandoned, and Emily began to notice that everything in the town felt off in some way. When she knocked on Rachel's door, no sound came from inside. After a moment, she forced the door open and stepped inside. Inside the house, Rachel's phone lay on the floor. When Emily unlocked the screen, she saw the same photo of Smile Dog glowing on it, just like the one she'd seen. Rachel was gone. With every beat of her heart, Emily felt the fear growing inside her. She didn't understand what the message meant, but everything in the town was turning upside down. Something dark, something sinister was at work, and Emily was trapped in the middle of it. Inside the house, Rachel's phone lay on the floor. When Emily unlocked the screen, she saw the same photo of Smile Dog glowing on it, just like the one she'd seen. Rachel was gone. With every beat of her heart, Emily felt the fear growing inside her. She didn't understand what the message meant, but everything in the town was turning upside down. Something dark, something sinister was at work, and Emily was trapped in the middle of it. One day, Emily stumbled upon an old ice cream shop in the town square. A group of townspeople had gathered in front of it. Their faces looked eerily different from the ones she had known. There was fear in their eyes, but also a deep emptiness. Emily took a step back. As she entered, the entire town's people turned to face her. In that moment, she saw the fear in their eyes, a fear that revealed something that had been hidden in the town for years. This fear was the manifestation of something long buried, something that was finally surfacing. One day, Emily stumbled upon an old ice cream shop in the town square. A group of townspeople had gathered in front of it. Their faces looked eerily different from the ones she had known. There was fear in their eyes, but also a deep emptiness. Emily took a step back. As she entered, the entire town's people turned to face her. In that moment, she saw the fear in their eyes, a fear that revealed something that had been hidden in the town for years. This fear was the manifestation of something long buried, something that was finally surfacing. That evening, Emily was once again alone in her house. As she sat at her computer, her mind wandered back to the message from Smile Dog. She felt compelled to see the photo again. But it wasn't just a picture of a dog. Its smile was a warning of something dangerous. It was as if that grin signaled that something was approaching. As Emily wrestled with these thoughts, the screen of her computer suddenly went dark. A jarring noise echoed, followed by the low hum of an old computer fan spinning to life. Suddenly, the photo appeared on the screen. In that moment, Emily's whole body trembled. Her eyes locked with Smile Dog's eyes. The dog's grin had widened so much that its face seemed like a mask. The words, "Look into my eyes," appeared on the screen. Every time Emily read those words, the emptiness inside her grew a little more. The phone rang. Rachel's name appeared on the screen. Emily's heart began to race. But when she answered, something else was there. An unfamiliar voice spoke in a dark tone. "Because you watched me, I will now be with you." Suddenly, the call dropped. Emily couldn't tear her eyes away from the photo on the screen. Every second felt like an eternity. With each passing moment, something was drawing closer. At that instant, the town's fear wasn't just a feeling. It was beginning to invade Emily, creeping deep inside her. In the photo, the dog's eyes began to hollow out, creating a vast emptiness. This emptiness settled inside Emily, slowly consuming her soul. That night, Emily knew the photo would appear before her eyes again, before she could fall asleep. She tried to delete it, but every time, it reappeared on the screen. Even though she wanted to save herself, the photo seemed to wrap around her like an inescapable grip. And that night, for the first time, she felt something about Smile Dog she had never experienced before. There was a watcher, but this watcher wasn't her. A week later, Emily began observing the town more closely. Each passing day, the townspeople's behavior grew stranger. The fear on their faces became more pronounced. No one looked at anyone, no one spoke. The town, like a living corpse, was decaying in darkness. Emily could feel the change in the air, a palpable shift in the town's atmosphere. Fear had started to creep through every corner, chilling the very essence of the place. The town was becoming more terrifying with each day. One day, while walking through the town square, Emily saw a man standing before her. His eyes were frozen in terror. As she took a step toward him, his eyes slowly turned to meet hers. The horror in his gaze hit her like an unspoken scream. Suddenly, with a sharp movement, the man collapsed to the ground. Emily rushed to his side, but his eyes continued to follow hers. Then, with a scream, the man crumpled to the ground, his eyes frozen in death. Emily's heart began to race. The man's death was a sign. The curse on the town was deepening. The town was now completely overshadowed by one thing: Smile Dog. That evening, Emily decided to leave the town. Perhaps escaping would give her a chance to break free from the grip of fear. But something strange happened. As she tried to leave, the town seemed to turn back on itself. Every street, every avenue was connected in a twisted maze, leading her back to where he started. The town had become a labyrinth. Every path felt like a dead end. With each step she took, there was something following her, something tracking her every move. Emily made her way to the abandoned village square. In the center, there was a stone with an ancient inscription. The writing carried a message from a long-lost spirit of the town. "No one can leave without seeing Smile Dog. I will be with you." A wave of terror washed over Emily. The town was pulling her, and all the others who had vanished, into its endless darkness forever. Emily realized that everything in the town would slowly vanish over the course of a single night. Watching Smile Dog slowly drain the town's soul, and seeing the townspeople turn into mere puppets, only deepened her fear. The town had transformed into a ghostly echo of itself. Everything, every person, every moment had become a shadow. One night, Emily found herself in an abandoned mansion on the outskirts of town. As she entered, a broken old radio crackled to life. The radio's distorted voice announced that everything was losing its meaning, slowly fading away. Before her eyes, things seemed to blur and twist. At that moment, Emily discovered the journal of one of the town's first inhabitants. The journal contained writings from an ancient cult that had brought Smile Dog to the town. Smile Dog had come to take the souls of the townspeople. Through a photograph, it would trap their spirits and pull them into its eternal grasp. For a brief moment, Emily's vision darkened. The photo appeared once again on the screen. But this time, Smile Dog's eyes were staring directly at her. Its smile was even wider than before. At the edge of the photo were the words, "Now, I am watching you." The fear inside Emily grew, suffocating her. At every street corner, at every turn, Smile Dog was watching her. The town had become nothing more than a memory now, lost in time. Everything had come down to this: the end, beginning with nothing more than a photograph. Emily had made up her mind. Leaving the town was the only solution. With each passing day, the town was becoming more terrifying. It felt as if every street, every step was drawing her closer to something she couldn't escape. The spark that had once existed in people's eyes was gone, just like the light that had disappeared from those who came to the town before. It seemed as though the town was claiming more and more of her and the others who had disappeared. One morning, an intense urge within her made her fully realize how difficult it would be to leave. As she walked toward the edge of the town, an invisible force kept pushing her back. Then, she noticed something was different at the exit. The town seemed to be pulling her in, trying to keep her there. Every street, every intersection, every corner was connected, and the borders of the town had disappeared. Even when she tried to step back, she couldn't leave. Finding an escape felt like defying the very rules of the town. In the pitch-black darkness where no light shone, fear consumed her. The town was watching her every step, every movement. In that moment, the fear engulfed her entire being. There was something behind her, following her every move. When she turned, she saw only a figure, ghostly, vanishing into the shadows of the town. Its eyes glowed, faint and far away. Emily walked toward the river. The water reflected all the town's fears, the darkness that had overtaken everything. The entire town felt like it had become a shadow, fading away piece by piece. With every passing moment, something was being taken from her. As the emptiness in her eyes grew, the town deepened, and with every step, she felt more trapped. At the riverbank, she found the body of one of the first to disappear, someone who had tried to escape. The body was unmistakable. Rachel. Around her body, there was a mark, a trace of the town's darkness. Rachel's eyes were wide open in terror. Slowly, Emily moved closer and looked into Rachel's eyes. In that moment, Rachel's gaze held a secret, a warning, a threat. That stare slowly began to pull Emily's soul in. Suddenly, screams erupted from every corner of the town. Emily took a step back, trying to flee, but the town was closing in on her. Eyes were everywhere. Smile Dog's silhouette appeared at every corner. With every step she took, another eye watched her. The town had become a part of Emily now. This cursed place was pulling her in, taking a piece of her with each moment. Emily continued to walk deeper into the town's darkness. With every step, every breath, the town seemed to sink even further into its twisted grip. Smile Dog, now like a ghost, followed her every move, its eyes never closing. In that darkness, when she heard the sound of the river, it felt as if she were chasing something that she couldn't understand. Her eyes had taken on the hollow gaze of a ghost. Everything had lost meaning. The town had transformed, no longer a place, but a prison. One night, Emily stopped in front of an old house. It was abandoned. Yet it beckoned her, drawing her in with a sinister pull. She forced the door open and stepped inside. The house was filled with the traces of the town's missing. This was the place where those who entered the town became victims of its curse. On the ancient walls, she saw the same photo of Smile Dog. The photo had been present everywhere since the beginning of the town. It was the key to uncovering the town's secrets, its dark past. Around the photo, the eyes of the missing townspeople were scattered. Smile Dog's smile seemed to grow larger, embedding itself deeper into Emily's soul with each passing second. As she stared at the photo, a message appeared around it. "Watch me." The weight of those words seemed to pull her in. It felt as if the entire town, with all its lost souls, was watching her, waiting for her to become another piece of its twisted history. She could feel herself losing control, the darkness closing in around her. The eyes on the screen seemed to watch her, their gaze unblinking, relentless. The town had become more than just a place. It now represented a state of mind, a suffocating, inescapable darkness. With each glance at the photo, Emily felt the shadows of the town grow heavier, stretching further and further into her soul. There was no way out, no escape. The town was set on consuming everything about her, trapping her spirit for eternity. Suddenly, the walls of the old house groaned and creaked as if the building itself were collapsing. Emily bolted for the door, her heart pounding in her chest. She had to get out, but she knew it was futile. The town, its malevolent force, was always one step behind her. The streetlights flickered and went dark one by one. The entire world around her was slipping away, consumed by darkness. With every passing moment, Smile Dog's power seemed to grow, its presence spreading through every inch of the town. There was no escaping the town's curse. It had already claimed her. As the last light went out and the shadows closed in, Emily realized that the town had become part of her, just as she had become part of it.